My name is Paul Van Ryn, and I lead the data visualization team here at Blue Margin. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through our Private Equity HQ, a template that demonstrates our best practice for private equity dashboards, and then I'll wrap up with some additional resources that will be helpful for you. Before we get there, let me tell you a little bit about Blue Margin. We're a Microsoft Gold Certified partner located in Fort Collins, Colorado. We thrive on assisting people in their journey to becoming data-driven. In fact, we're so passionate about it that we wrote the book on it. Here at Blue Margin, one of our primary objectives is helping sponsored mid-market companies and private equity firms in actualizing their data in the form of dashboards, which allows them to focus on alignment and accountability. When you get clarity between fund and investors, deal teams and management teams and their employees, you can truly execute at the highest level. In our experience, this use of data intelligence in the private equity sector serves as a key differentiator. Now let's take a look at the live version of the Private Equity HQ. This is a set of reports targeted at managing fund performance across a portfolio. I'm going to walk you through a quick overview of the three dashboards highlighting fund, portfolio, and portco performance. Let's start with the financial overview. This page has four main visuals highlighted by the monthly flash, which is typically the most important in the financial package. This monthly flash visual allows us to compare actuals, budget, forecast, and operating plan percent variances for different time periods such as year-to-date, month-to-date, and last 12 months, and across different metrics such as sales, EBITDA, gross profit, and OPEX. If I were to select month-to-date, you'll see that these visuals change and react to that slice. Additionally, if I were to choose the EBITDA slice, this will give us a different view of what's going on across these different fund families. Should we want to make a deeper analysis on, say, for instance, the November fund family, we can just drill down on that and get greater context into the vintage. In this case, there's just a single vintage for this fund family called November 1. If we wanted further context, we could drill in again or drill down again, and we would see that the Drug Monitoring LLC is the sole company in this vintage for this fund family. Again, you can see that this is very interactive, and if we were to highlight, we would get additional context called a tooltip that tells us what our percent variances are and the actuals behind these numbers. You can also see down here on the bottom where the cash conversion cycle is being represented. Because we have gone down into the November fund family, we can see the DSO, DPO, and DIO for each of these. If I were to filter up again, you'll see that all of the fund families are being represented again in the days outstanding visual. Over to the middle, we see an ownership and performance visualization. This really gives us a representation of the individual rate of return and the multiple on invested capital that you might care about for each of your different companies. We do have KPI coloring associated with this based on some rules that we've found to be useful. Finally, on the bottom right, there are debts and covenants, which again are based on our companies and tell us whether or not our change in net debt for the last 12 months and our net leverage are in a place where they should be, and the status of the covenants that are being applied to these. Finally, on the right, we see a set of slicers that allow us to filter this down. We could choose a different month, we could choose a different fund family or vintage or company. We could also choose to see exited companies as well as the current ones. Overall, this should give you a general and really helpful picture of what you're wanting to see. Looking at the portfolio overview dashboard, we can see a different representation of what is happening with our funds from a more time-oriented perspective. This dashboard highlights the different factors which have impacted your portfolio from the previous time period to the current value. If we look across the top, we can see our bridges represented as a waterfall chart and as a matrix. Both are interactive, and both can be sliced to compare the prior value to the current actual value or the budget value to the current actual value. Looking across the bottom, we have our growth in terms of the monthly growth year to date and the annual growth for actuals and forecast and the budget. Again, in each of these visuals below, we can see that hovering over an individual month will give us an extended and enhanced tooltip for more detail on the actual values as well as the percent variances for each of these. Additionally, these visuals on the bottom can be filtered to show the EBITDA value instead of sales. Let's move on to our Portco overview. On this page, we are displaying different key metrics across the suite of portfolio companies for comparative analysis. This will provide a method to gauge the health of each Portco as well as how they are faring relative to the others in the portfolio. If we look at the table on the left, we can see each of the companies listed and sorted by their EBITDA. We could change this easily to make a different analysis, for instance, the most recent quarter rate of return or the net debt. In any of these situations, we can also cross-filter the entire report to say what this individual Portco might be looking at. This is extremely helpful to help guide what your specific analysis might be and where you might want to focus your attention. On this specific page, we've called out the gross profit and gross margin and the sales by the fund family. Deselecting this allows us to look back at the overall view, especially in the right two visuals, which show us an overall picture of health by fund family sales on the bottom and the gross profit and gross margin on the top. Now that we have a great view of the overall portfolio financial health, the next step is to create operational dashboards for the individual Portcos. This is an area of expertise for Blue Margin. These operational dashboards serve the purpose of aligning the management team with the board, aligning all employees on value creation priorities, and establishing data intelligence as a differentiator for outperforming the market and for liquidity events. Thanks for watching this quick overview. We'd be happy to meet with you to discuss your specific situation. You can contact John Thompson, one of our senior partners, at 970-214-1652 to set it up. We also have some tools we'd like to offer to help: a self-serve data audit, a 90-minute data opportunity workshop, and the Dashboard Effect book. To contact us, click on the links in this video or below the webpage.